बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम नाज़रीन, समीना खान आपके सामने हाजिर अपने यूट्यूब चैनल समीना खान के साथ। और आज के प्रोग्राम में बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग इशू डिस्कस होगा। इंटरेस्टिंग भी है लेकिन उसके साथ साथ बहुत अफसोसनाक है। हम यूके में रहते हैं और यूके और यूरोप में रहकर हम लोग ये समझते हैं कि एक मॉडर्न कंट्री है, यहाँ पर ह्यूमन राइट्स भी आपको मिलते हैं, यहाँ पर हर तरह का तहफ़्फ़ुज़ आपको आपके पास मौजूद है, सिक्योरिटी है, सेफ्टी है। लेकिन ऐसे में कुछ ऐसे लोग जो अपनी कहानी शेयर करते हैं जिनके साथ एक रेशियल अब्यूज़ होता है या जिनके साथ एक ऐसा वाक़या, ऐसा सानिया पेश आता है कि जिससे उनकी सारी ज़िंदगी बदल जाती है और किस तरह से वो अपने आप को, अपने फ्यूचर को बचाते हैं। अगर हम अमेरिका की बात करें तो आपने ज़रूर सुना होगा कि रिसेंटली वहाँ पर ब्लैक लाइव्स मैटर के नाम से एक मूवमेंट स्टार्ट हुई जिसने पूरी दुनिया में शोहरत भी हासिल की। वो मूवमेंट बहुत कामयाब रही जिसकी वजह से हर जगह पर एक मरतबा फिर जो रेशियल डिस्क्रिमिनेशन है उसके ख़िलाफ़ आवाज़ उठी। आज मेरे स्टूडियो में एक ऐसे गेस्ट मौजूद हैं जो कि बेसिकली नाइजीरियन हैं लेकिन यूके मैनचेस्टर में पीएचडी करने के लिए आए हैं और फर्दर स्टडीज़ के लिए यहाँ पर आए थे। और उनके साथ एक ऐसा वाक़या पेश आया कि मेरा भी सुन के रोंगटे खड़े हो गए। मैंने कहा कि ये जो उनका एक फ़र्स्ट हैंड एक्सपीरियंस है आप लोगों के साथ शेयर करना बहुत ज़रूरी है। एंड आई हैव इनवाइटेड a guest in the studio. Obviously, as I mentioned in my Urdu introduction, that he is basically from Nigeria, but he's a PhD student studying in Manchester. So please welcome my guest, Ehiz Oge. Good evening, Ehiz.
Hello. Hi, Samina. Thank you for inviting me as a guest today.
Thank you very much for coming to the studios. And first of all, I must apologize if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but I'm trying my best to pronounce it right. So can you introduce yourself for my viewers, please?
Okay. So my name is Ehiz Oge. So preferably Ehiz.
Ehiz, yeah.
Yes. So.
Right. So you are a student in Manchester. So what are you studying?
Right now I'm studying business and management, a PhD in business and management in Manchester. Yes.
Why did you choose to come to Manchester?
So Manchester, I've always been a lover of Manchester United. So
that's why.
That's the first thing. And secondly, I actually have family and friends that live here. Mm-hmm. So yeah, just family, friends, and I just love the city. You know, it's a really good city. My well-being, I'm just comfortable here.
Right. And you came to 2017, you mentioned.
2017, September.
Right. And which university you're attending at the moment?
University of Salford.
University of Salford. Right. Actually, obviously, public doesn't know that where we meet. So we met a few weeks ago, and he's then shared his experience with me. So I thought, you have to come on TV, you have to come on screen, you have to come to my channel, and you have to share your experience with others because it can help others. Absolutely. We are trying to educate here. We are discussing an issue, but we will try and educate other people, and we will try and raise some more information and create some awareness for general public.
Yeah.
So I just want you to, I know it's very difficult to talk about your past, and especially if it hurts, and especially if it's painful experience you have. But I would appreciate if you can share your experience. What happened to you that really woke you up and you thought, oh my God, it is a racial discrimination against me?
So February 13th, 2020, I think that was just at the beginning of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. It was just an incident that I was out on a night with my friends, and we just thought, just a Friday night, Friday evening. I hardly go out anyway, but my friends came from Nigeria, so I just thought, let me show them Manchester, what I know of. Like, Manchester has been good to me. It's been a good city to me. So, it was a case of, according to the police, mistaken identity. So just trying to get into the lounge, and
so police accepted it was a mistaken identity.
Police accepted
at the end, right? Okay, and then
however,
what
it wasn't official.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you went out with your friends.
I went out with a group of my friends, and we were just trying to get into the lounge. So there was a brawl before that, which was established by the eyewitnesses, and the bouncers at the lounge decided to pick on myself and my friend while we were just all waiting around. And, I just saw that they were picking on my friend especially, and they started beating him. Suddenly, I was like, what's going on here? And I asked them.
And your friend was also Black Nigerian?
Yes, my friend was Black Nigerian. He just moved to Manchester, actually. So it wasn't really a good impression from everything I know about Manchester, or I had known before then.
Sure.
So moving on, the bouncers started, beating me, beating my friend. And it was just a brawl. It was a bit confusing. So I was like, what's going on? Why are you guys picking on us? That we're not really sure what happened. That please,
And how many bouncers were there who were beating you up?
Personally, from eyewitnesses' point of view, because they were suffocating me, so I couldn't even understand what was going on. So it was about 5 bouncers were beating me. And, all of them were white, but that's not really the point. The point is, afterwards, I just heard sirens behind us. Police joined them, 3 policemen.
Okay.
And, I looked up, I was able to look up and I saw them beating my friend also and putting my friends in handcuffs. While all that was going on, the police started strangling me. They strangled me to the point of almost suffocation. And, I'm just thankful for, the gift of life, because I remember, I think about a month later.
So 5 bouncers were beating you up.
Yes.
Then police came and they joined them as well.
Police joined them.
How many were they all together? After 7?
Altogether 8.
8.
Altogether
And
8.
all 8 people were beating you up.
All 8. The police were ensuring that I was put in handcuffs.
Okay.
And, I think the police relieved the bouncers from, then the police put me in handcuffs in a muscle pull position and, slammed my face on the floor a couple of times. And I was breathless while all that was going on. So, and it was just a case of, just brutality on another level that is beyond, television or movies or,
Even beyond imagination.
Beyond imagination.
But one person. And 8 people are so scared of one person that they're all beating him up.
And I really wasn't a threat to anybody. So
you were not armed.
No.
You were...
No arms, nothing. They put me in the back of the van and, they searched me, checked my ID card. And this was in the presence of, just everyone outside just watching. It became a scene.
So when that was happening to you, was there any other people in that particular club or general public standing outside watching the scene?
The general public were actually asking the police to stop.
Oh, they were asking, okay, they were trying to help you.
Trying to help.
Which is good, okay.
It was similar to, the David Floyd. I'm not sure if you remember that.
But I've mentioned my introduction, what happened in America. And
so it was similar to that. I just survived it.
Oh my God.
I just happened to survive it. But one thing that surprised me is that I didn't know this happens in the UK. Even if I've heard of it, it's different when you experience it yourself.
Yes.
So I could speak from that place of confidence that police brutality is live in the UK. It's happening. And, institutions get away with it because I've seen this on a level beyond my imagination because I don't know how I survived it.
I was just, when I was driving towards the studio and I heard my radio in my car was on and there was news. And I heard the news that, I don't know if you heard about that 33-year-old woman, Sarah, who was kidnapped and raped and then murdered. So police officers involved in that murder. So that's been official now. So that's right. So when they searched your IDs and obviously asked you about your identity, so what they found afterwards and what happened? Did they take you to the police station?
Right in front of the lounge. They just, after beating me, they just said, oh, right, it's a case of mistaken identity. You could go now from the back of the van. Because I was expecting that maybe they would take me to the station for a crime I didn't know that I committed.
Because they dealt with you there and then.
Oh my, it was terrible.
Yeah.
So they just let me go. And, my friends were outside asking what happened. Please, can you let my friends go? My friend go. What did they do? So they let me go in their presence. And, it became a scene because one of my friends was like crying because of how brutal and, how horrible what she saw was. So as she was crying, it gets more interesting because it's like a movie, really. As she was crying, one of the lady police officers that was there just started shouting, he's assaulting her, he's assaulting her.
Oh my God.
So
she was trying to put the blame on you again for that woman who was crying.
Yes. And I looked back, then suddenly at least 5 policemen started chasing me down. Then it took me to the ground.
Again?
There and then, again.
That why that female was crying?
Yes. They took me to the ground and they started beating me again. But from an eyewitness point of view, they told me they saw at least 8 this time.
Oh.
But I remember seeing 5 when I looked back. Eyewitness point of view said that they saw 8 people taking me down, then beating me and beating me and beating me. And what I heard, because I thought literally I wasn't going to survive it this time, because from the shock the first time, I just expected that, okay, I'm not going to be here a minute after now. Because this time around, they beat me, and what I heard them say was, make sure you turn off your body cameras. Make sure you turn off your body cameras.
God, so that was policemen talking to each other, make sure body
talking
cameras
to each other. So I wasn't aware that they could do that. So that's all I could hear.
Okay.
And I was numb. Because they didn't just, handcuff me again. They were beating me and slamming me on the floor and kicking me.
And did anybody, like there were, as you mentioned, there were quite a few eyewitnesses there. They did not try to film it or any video on...
No, Samina, at that point, I didn't know what was going on.
Mm-hmm. Right. So your female friend who actually, who was crying because whatever was happening with you, did she not try to explain to police that he was not assaulting me?
Apparently she was trying to explain to her,
but
the
they
police.
Weren't listening to her.
They weren't listening to her. So when they took me into the van, because what I remember was, because when they took me down, I just removed my jacket because I was scared. Then I was afraid that maybe this time they might plant drugs in my pocket. They might put a knife. I don't know.
Okay.
I just didn't know what was going to happen.
Okay. Right. And then what was the point when they stopped? When did they stop and why did they stop, police?
Now they put me back in the van again.
Again?
The second time in that same scene.
Hmm.
And one of the police officers just said, just let him go, just let him go. Then they let me go. My friends helped me in the Uber. We came home, went to the hospital the next day. I got a checkup. Even when the ambulance came, I explained everything that happened. But, the officials in the ambulance they didn't really act surprised. Like, it seemed to me as though it was something that they were used to, cases they were used to handling.
So when you went to hospital, were there any injuries,
Yes, I suffered bruises all over my body. I had a pulped eye. And that, it was pulped for I think it was about a month and a half. And, my lip was busted, my nose. Thankfully, I didn't suffer a broken nose. But with the force and with the pressure they slammed my face on the concrete, I couldn't literally feel my face for almost a month. So I was put on, medication for quite some time after that.
Right. Then after that incident, did you try to do anything? Did you try to get some justice?
Samina,
did you go to Independent Police Crime Commissioner? There's
absolutely
crime and commissioning bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Did you manage to speak to them or put a complaint in?
The only thing I did was just share the case from my university because, to be honest, from that point, I was living in fear.
Okay.
I was living in, just fear of just even taking a step outside my home. Mm. So I started understanding that post-traumatic stress disorder is real. Mm-hmm. It's real. And, I couldn't just function properly anymore.
So when you shared it with university, what did they do for you?
Well, they actually offered to, if they could take it up with the Independent Police Commission.
Yeah.
And I wasn't comfortable with it, just because of what I experienced from the people, the institution, the law enforcement agency that are meant to protect the people, protect and serve the people. They happen to be the ones committing a crime against who they're meant to protect and serve. So I was more afraid of reporting them to themselves. So
you're not, or in other words, you were not sure that you are going back to same people for justice. They might not.
Exactly.
You also mentioned that you had some issue with your visa after whatever happened to you. You were at the verge of cancellation of your visa. What happened?
Sorry, say.
So there was something, I mean, when you had this issue, this incident, you also had an issue from university when you were at the verge of going back to your country, and they were...
Okay. For now, I'd rather not talk too much about that.
No problem. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine, as long as if you're not comfortable. You are a PhD student, an educated man, and what I expected from you that you would have done something about it. You would have gone to Independent Police Crime Commission to set a precedent for other people. That, like you mentioned, that at that moment in time you thought you are going to be another George Floyd. Why didn't you do that? I'm surprised. Why didn't you go? Why didn't you speak up?
Samina, when it comes to discovering realities and differentiating it from theories, when it's your reality, it's just different. And it's beyond explanation, it's beyond any theory, and it's beyond the conversations we've always had. It's beyond the conversations of, okay, let's do this, let's do that, let's bridge the gap between, there's racial inequality in the society, in institutions, let's bridge the gap. We're always having conversations about it. But we've not taken action. And I'm also talking boldly about, the measures the government have put in place as well, because I think the government sets up a commission.
What do you expect from the authorities responsible for whatever happened with you? Because it may happen to anybody, or it might be happening to other people, but they are in fear just like yourself. Why did you decided now to come on a channel and speak about it? So what actually you want now?
Well, I met Samina Khan, number one. We happened to meet, we spoke about politics about a month ago.
Yeah.
And I just thought this is a perfect opportunity. I've recovered, I'm healed. Let me speak for my people.
Right.
Let me speak for my people, not meaning necessarily black, but all of us. We are one. And if we are one, we should identify why we are segregated, which is something that all of us have failed to do.
Yeah.
We always talk about it, but we don't bridge the gap. So let's go beyond the conversations and start practicing, because it's always been the conversations, but now it's time to actually put it into action. Let's talk about it. Let's share our feelings. Let's ask the right questions. Let's and the government have actually done something about it by abolishing, at least BAME, the term BAME, blacks, Asians, minority ethnic groups. Yeah. Because that takes away the dividing lines.
BAMEs,
and it brings about a meeting point for conversations like this right now. So I have experienced that, and I'm not trying to say, let's talk about Black Lives Matter. And don't get me wrong, all lives matter. However, if we have been, there's been a system that has, made us a group that we perceive that the government don't care about us. It's a reflection of how the government feels to our people.
So obviously it's the responsibility of the government and of the institution to make sure that the public is safe, and it is duty of the police to make sure that's their public duty.
Absolutely.
To ensure the security and safety of public. But if they are involved in beating people and then apologizing, did they apologize at least for mistaken identity?
Oh, no. They just left me, they just took off the handcuffs, and I was just left in blood, and my friends had to but that's okay. We need to talk about reconciliation. Reconciliation, because we are all one.
Thank you very much, Ehiz, for taking some time out, and especially for being so bold. As you mentioned that you're healed now and you're recovered, and now you thought it's time to speak up. And thank you very much for speaking up. And I hope that that other people who are obviously going to listen to your story, or listening to your story right now, will take some courage, so that if that happens to them, please don't be afraid. Report it. If you don't report it, you'll be a lost case. nobody is going to bother about you because they don't know about you. But thank you very much that you at least you have spoken about it now.
And Samina, one thing I like about this channel is, the fact that it's an opportunity to build communities that work.
Yeah.
Build communities that can talk about what people don't talk about.
Exactly. And that's what I believe in. Giving opportunity to everybody, and that's a platform. I mean, I believe in that. So that's why I thought let's come and discuss this. So anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I hope and pray that nobody will ever suffer or will ever go through whatever you have been through. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Samina. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. So that was a first-hand, real story of a gentleman who had suffered racial discrimination, and a very sad story, sad to know that it was actually police. But I hope that nobody, as I mentioned before, nobody has to go through the same एक्सपीरियंस। ये थी आज का वीडियो आपके लिए, और अगर आपको इस वीडियो से थोड़ा सा भी कुछ सबक मिला है या आप समझते हैं कि इस इंफॉर्मेशन को स्प्रेड करना चाहिए, सो प्लीज़ शेयर दिस वीडियो विद योर फ्रेंड्स एंड फैमिली एंड डू सब्सक्राइब माय चैनल। फिर मिलते हैं। अल्लाह हाफ़िज़।